You're going to love it. Some of the stuff he's done is absolutely incredible. So hang on, and I'm going to show you some of this. Look.
Well, Jamie.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. Thank you for showing up there. Oh, man, means
Wicked
the
to
world
see you.
to
Look,
me.
here I am. I'm standing here with an iconic piece of your work here, a little look through the rocks into the whole scene of London. Where should we start?
Yeah, you know, actually, this piece is funny. If like at the end of the show, maybe when we finish this live, you should ask someone to take you a photo when you're standing there and someone take it from the other side. There's one point of view, and then it really looks like, you know, you're going through the walls. That's what we just did in Paris with the Eiffel Tower.
I love it. Well, I saw, I mean, I don't know where to start on your work, because actually this piece of work here probably links in nicely to this one, which is when you took over the whole section of one of the most iconic parts of the world at the Louvre. And can you just, because a lot of people that follow me know your work, but some won't. Can you tell me the medium that you work in and how you do it?
Yeah. I mean, you know, those ones, actually, this was one of my last giant pasting collaborative before the pandemic. So for this, we had 400 people every day pasting this entire plaza of the Louvre in Paris. What was amazing is that the people who would come were just volunteers, some art lover, and some who don't know anything about art, just wanted to be part of this common action. So to me, the process is what matter. Is the process to make this piece that really matter. And then, of course, when we opened it to people after 5 days, so people could walk on it, the more they would walk on it, and the more it would disappear under their feet. And I love that, because they had to think about, fuck, is that normal? Is that right? Should this go all in pieces?
Well, I mean, what I love about it is ultimately it's a form. Well, it is art, of course, but it's a form of graffiti because you're pasting. But how on earth did you get permission from the French government to take over one of the most iconic parts of the world? And I mean, what you've done is that, I mean, that, for context, that's the real part of the building, and you've taken it down into the pits of the world. I mean, I saw some of the time lapses you had that you were doing, and all the videos. It was incredible.
Well, you know, the first time the Louvre invited me, so it's really the president of the Louvre who really decides, okay, this should happen or not. And so they invited me to do something on the pyramid a couple of years ago. What I did at first was to make the pyramid disappear. So I didn't paste the floor, I pasted the pyramid with the building behind. And so it looked like there was no pyramid. And then when they asked me 2 years later or 3 years later, can you do another one? I was like, fuck, I don't have any idea for that. What could I do? And so I say, okay, I'm going to make it appear. So to make it appear, you have to basically reveal what's under the ground. And I don't know how the fuck on earth they said yes to that, but it was crazy. We really had the best time ever pasting there.
So listen, brother, like, just to give my audience a taster of some of the stuff that you do, where should we go? Do you want to go to this project
Yeah,
here,
actually, this is a good one. So I've done a project in a maximum security prison in California, and I came there. It was a couple months before the pandemic, and we pasted the entire ground. And then I came back to montlader, and that's what you're seeing. And I pasted the mountains that are behind the wall of this maximum security prison on the wall, so it looks like there's almost no wall. The guards asked me to keep the bottom part of the wall that you're seeing visible here present, because they need, it's such a violent prison that there's no guards in the yard. They only shoot rubber bullets or sometimes real bullets from the watchtower. So they always need to have eyesight on all the inmates. And so we came back, and on the second trip, we pasted those mountains there that are still there. And the funny part is that inside the mountain, I've hidden a little helicopter and a quad. So I told the guys, if you make it to this black and white image world, just so you know, I got you guys. There's some ways for you to escape. And then this one is in New York, actually. So New York, my hometown for the last decade, and I photograph every single person one by one all around the city. I've just randomly, and created this large mural. And with an app that is totally free, it's called JR Mural. You can actually point your phone to any person, even the little doggy, and then you hear you know, the doggy talk, or you hear the people talk, you hear the story. There's actually another exhibition that's going on right now in London at the Saatchi Gallery, where there's an entire, exhibition about my work, and there you can see the mural in a giant form. So this show at Pace Gallery, which is also right now, I have another show in New York in the same gallery, and in Perrotin at the New York Gallery also, is a way to like display the actual artworks that help finance the work, basically. But if you want to see the projects, the works, you can see that the Saatchi Gallery, and also people can come and volunteer, you know. And right now we're doing Inside Out all over London with the photo booth truck. So it's always very participative in my work.
Well, I saw recently you took over Tower Bridge, and there was pasting all over Tower Bridge. So you have 2 shows in London right now.
Yeah, exactly. The Saatchi Gallery is really a museum show. You go there, there's films, there is like, the camera I found in the subway when I was 16 years old. It's the museum show from New York that moved there to Saatchi. The piece behind you is actually in Cuba. This is with my brother Jose Parla, amazing American Cuban artist, and we went there together in 2012, and we pasted many artworks there in the city about, you know, elders people and wrinkles. And this one was a sidewalk we did on the side with like his writing all over, I think some of them are still up there. They resist the heat and the sun.
I mean, what always strikes me is the scale of your work. The scale of your work seems to get bigger and bigger. I mean, you do the small intimate stuff, but I think some of the first work I saw of yours was in the favelas of Brazil, where you pasted basically the whole hillside, up the steps.
Exactly.
And I mean, at the same time, you're still doing incredibly intimate stuff like this.
Exactly.
I mean, where do you start?
Yeah. Well, no, but you know, it starts always from portraits, from people. And you're the same. You're passionate about people. You cook for people. You know, the food gives dignity to people, give power to people. Well, it's the same with art. That's why our both universe connects so well. And so basically, I always start with a portrait. I always start with something very simple. The eyes in the favela were just eyes of women. But then after we enlarge it to adapt them to the community, to the place. The works behind you is a woman from Cuba, you know, and this is actually a transfer on wood. So the image is stuck between the wood and the paper. That's why it looks like it's coming from the wood. And it's actually pasted in Cuba. It's still out there.
If you could see and touch this right now, it's an incredible texture. So that is basically pasted onto
the
pieces
wood.
Of,
You know, what people don't always know about my work is that I don't take any commission and I don't get financed by any brands. I don't take corporate money. So basically the artworks, you know, sells, and I decide to invest it into the projects. That's always been my model. Give me total freedom, a bit like Christo was doing. And so I, you know, that's the freedom I have to just go one place and just boom, make it happen the next week.
No, mate, you've always kept it fresh. You've always stayed completely independent. I mean, and I think you can see that in your work. I mean, this was a piece of work. I mean, if I'm correct, that's in Paris, right? Or is that another?
Exactly. Yeah, it's in the projects right outside Paris. It's called Montfermeil, and I've done this with my brother Lajli over the years. We've walked in the same neighborhood over 20 years, and when they destroyed the neighborhood after the riots, we pasted inside at every floor the photos, the portraits of the youth from the community, and then the more the cranes would hit the building, the more it would disappear. There's actually the whole film is also at Saatchi Gallery.
And also, if they go onto your website, because you've got a wicked website, what's the correct website? I'll put it in the link later on.
Yeah, it's jr-art.net, and there's I literally put everything on there. You can find the videos, the projects one by one. You know, because I've always wanted to make sure that my work is accessible to anybody. Only a few people can maybe buy these pieces or the prints, but anybody can have access to the work. And that's why I made books. That's why it's always outdoor and for free and public. It's always been like one of the key of my projects.
And what I loved about what you did is one of the projects that you did, and probably many more, when you created some artwork, you said you can pay if you want to, but you pay for the other person to get it for free. And exactly. I love that idea of trusting in people and pay it forward. And actually, that's its own form of art in its own way, right? The way that people
100%.
that
When we
maybe couldn't
started,
afford.
yeah, that's what you saw on the Tower Bridge. Actually, those posters that are all over London right now is basically it's always free for everybody. But if you want to do it online and say, hey, me and my community, me and my friend, we want to do it, and you can't afford it, then someone else pays for you. And you know what? Of course, it could fail if suddenly 1 million people ask it for free. But the beauty of it is that by doing nothing, just half of the people just pay for it, and just it pays for someone else. So I really started this as a little utopist project, saying, okay, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It would have lasted 2-3 years, and great. It's been almost 11 years, and we have done more than 400,000 posters in 130 countries, and it keeps going. And so it's, you know, to me, that's fascinating. It shows a lot about people.
Well, listen, I mean, definitely what I would say to my audience and people watching this is, if they don't know your work, definitely go to JR's website. If you're in London, get down to Pace, get down to the Saatchi Gallery to get a real feel for it. But also, I think it feels, what I love about the work that you've done is the way you set it up and the way you put trust in people to make it come alive becomes its own thing. And because you don't know what's going to happen, more than often you're surprised, because these little ideas get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the idea that everyone's contributing to the end product, I think that's one of the most beautiful things that you do, Jay. So I think...
Thank you, my brother. You see, you're finishing with a little heart behind you. This was in a refugee camp at the border of Syria, where I went, and all those kids gathered and created that giant heart. And we sent a drone above the camp and got that photo. But thank you so much for showing love always, Jamie. I fucking love you, everything you do, and I can't wait, you know, for us to get together around a meal. And before you go, I'll make sure, you know, someone from the gallery takes a good photo of you jumping into the into the hole.
Right in here. I'm going to be jumping right down there. JJ, take care, brother. Look after yourself. And
love you.
Look forward to seeing you again.
With pleasure.
Nice one, brother.
See ya.
You
Bye-bye.
take care of yourself. So there you go, lovely people. How about that? That was fantastic. So now I need to know, my live, I need to work out how to turn it off, because I can't even remember. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Take care. Still struggling here, but I'm going to love you. I'm going to leave you. If you're in London, get down to the Pace Gallery, Saatchi Gallery. Come and see Jay's work. What I love about what he does is he just makes you think. And there's little, if you go and look at his website, look at how he approaches things. And whatever you do in life, I promise you, like, just have a little look at how he tries to get things just to come across differently and get you thinking. It's brilliant. He's such a clever boy. Anyway, love you guys. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. And I look forward. I'll put some more pictures of his up as well, so you get a bit of a flavour.